Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to do another trailer breakdown because the first trailer for the fifth installment in the Rambo series came out today with Rambo 5 Last Blood. Um, Now, again, we're going to have Sylvester Stallone coming back as the Rambo character. We don't know too much about the story as of yet, except that it involves John Rambo's fight with, I believe, the cartels. Because at the end of the previous film, at the end of Rambo 4, he goes back home to his house after he leaves. I think it's he's in Cambodia at the beginning of that, and for most of that movie. But to dive into the trailer itself, it's only a minute 44, so it's basically a teaser. It's not that long. There's a lot of quick cuts, but it gives you a lot of really encouraging things. And I'm going to make some comparisons with this trailer to what I think this movie is making me kind of feel like, and I'll kind of save that for the end. But just to go into the trailer, we start out where we basically see John Rambo, who is, he's aged, obviously, because Sylvester Stallone is 72, I think, something like that. And he is now kind of he's on this farm, which again is the Rambo family farm that we saw at the end of the fourth film. And he just shows him kind of like rocking back and forth on the porch in a rocking chair. Again, he essentially, this is his retirement almost. This is essentially, he's kind of resolved himself to the peaceful life. And then we hear Sylvester Stallone give this monologue, which he continues over the course of the entire trailer. And this monologue is great. This monologue reminds me a lot of the monologue that he has at the end, or at the end of the first Rambo film, except it's not as emotionally charged. It's very, very calm. But it reminds me a lot of that in the sense that you can feel kind of that seething anger and emotion in the speech. But we move on from that, and we kind of we see that he talks about people that he's loved that have died, and some of them have died fast from bullets, and some of them have died slow, or some of them have died and there's not enough left to bury, and stuff like that. And we see that there are what we believe to be some kind of graves outside of his home under a tree. Now, those could be family members. Again, the Rambo farm, I believe, was owned. It's a family farm, so I believe his parents, or at least his father, was still there. So we don't know exactly, but it's fair to assume that somebody close to him gets killed very early in the film. And then we see him kind of confront people. Looks like he gets the shit beat out of him. And then we go into John Rambo is back in the game, essentially, for the next parts of this trailer, where we just see him do all of his John Rambo-iest stuff, where he's making booby traps. He's sharpening knives. And then he's firing a bow, and then and near the end of it, we see that he's finally starts like killing people. We see that there's these people with guns that are assaulting his little farmhouse, and it's again, it feels really reminiscent in a lot of ways to the first Rambo, when the all the state troopers, or all the sheriff's office and all the deputies and stuff, go into the woods looking for him, and they all get picked off one by one. It feels a lot like that, because I think it shows him there's some underground tunnels or something that he's in at one point. And then the most badass shot of the entire trailer is the very, very end, where it shows him and he's pulling his big, his Bowie knife, his Rambo knife, out of its sheath, and he's walking towards what we presume is some guy, and it looks like he's been shot a couple of times. He's got some blood splotches on the back of his shirt. He's limping a little bit. He looks like he's been through hell, and then he just walks up to a guy, and you see him lift the knife, and then the trailer cuts and ends at the very end of that. Before, as he's about to stab whoever's in front of him, the trailer just cuts and ends. So, uh, and then the music for the trailer is actually Old Town Road, which is a song that came out recently, which I personally find annoying as hell, but it does work for this trailer. And I'm going to compare this to a movie that I know that it's going to be a lot, that I know that the movie I'm going to compare it to is a lot better than what Rambo 5 is probably going to be. But this feels kind of like the Logan of the Rambo series. Um, in tone, in look. Again, it's going to be rated R, but it feels a lot like that in terms of like the tone that it's going for. Even though it kind of it seems like it plays on the beats of like a classic revenge type of film, um, but I really, really kind of enjoy that feeling of, this is our last ride essentially with John Rambo. This is the last time we're going to go out with him, and they're going to make sure that everything goes out with a bang. And I would really like it if this was if they went that route. If they said this is going to be the last time we see Rambo, at the end of this, he's either going to die or he's going to ride off into the sunset, and that's going to be it. We're not going to have any more Rambo movies, and they send him off on a tasteful note, and they're true to the character, which again, it seems like they really are. And I really, really enjoyed this trailer. I think that it doesn't show too much. It shows enough to get you excited. It shows enough of the stuff that we've seen in the Rambo series before to kind of bring you back into it and say, hey, look, he's doing all this stuff, he's doing all that stuff. It's kind of the same idea at the first Rambo movie, where the Colonel is talking to Brian Dennehy, and he's explaining John Rambo, and all he goes is his role in Vietnam was to dispose of enemy personnel, to kill, period. And that's essentially what we see John Rambo doing for majority of this trailer. Is we just see him murking people, and it is awesome. Um, and again, you've given him a new enemy at this point. You've given him, the drug cartels or whatever, whoever he's fighting in this, or whoever it appears. It appears he's fighting drug cartels, um, or he crossed one, or they crossed him. But it I think you obviously, that's kind of been the main problem after a certain point in the Rambo series, was that you couldn't have the Viet Cong or the NVA, or whatever, be his main villain, because obviously Vietnam's been over for a while, and they kind of had that a little bit with Rambo 4, where he's back in Southeast Asia and stuff like that. He's basically doing the same thing he was in Rambo 2. But now we've kind of moved past that, and I like that idea. I like the changing of the setting. I like that it's kind of in this like plains area, like this. It might be Texas. I think it's Texas. This flat plains like area where there's not, it's not the jungle where you can hide everywhere. It's where everything is in plain sight. You can't run. You can't hide. And he's going to have to adapt to that, which again I think will be very interesting. So overall, this trailer got me really excited. And I actually look, especially after Stallone's remarks from Canes, I'm really interested to see about this movie, and I think I'll probably this. I think this movie has won my ticket at this point, and I'm sure they'll have a few more trailers before it comes out, but until then, I think I'm sold on it with this teaser. Uh, so I will link the trailer below in the description. And again, thank you for listening. I'll remember to hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, leave any of your thoughts in the comments, uh, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?